The Dallas Cowboys took care of business against the New York Jets, walking away with a commanding 37-22 victory. This wasn't necessarily a must-win game, but it was one they had to handle, and they did exactly that. Cowboys fans, it's okay to enjoy this one. Wins in the NFL are never easy, no matter who's on the other sideline. Celebrate it. Take a moment to appreciate how this team bounced back, handled their business, and kept the momentum rolling. Before we dive deeper into what went right, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update from us. Now, let's talk about the good news from this matchup, and it starts with pressure. The Cowboys' defense finally showed some real fire up front. They were relentless, collapsing the pocket and forcing the Jets' offense into uncomfortable spots all game long. James Houston led the charge with another strong performance, showcasing why he's become one of the team's most consistent pass rushers this season. He might not be the strongest against the run, but when it comes to getting after the quarterback, he's doing exactly what Dallas needs. Osa Odigizua also made his presence felt with a sack and a tackle for loss, one of his most complete games as a pass rusher this year. Meanwhile, Kenny Clark continued to prove why he's one of the most dependable defenders on this roster, even if he wasn't perfect against the run today. And then there's Dante Fowler, who might have just delivered his best outing of the season. His burst off the edge gave the Jets fits, helping set the tone for a defense that looked far more aggressive and confident than in previous weeks. All in all, this was the kind of performance Cowboys fans have been waiting for: controlled, disciplined, and full of energy. When you look at the box score, it might only show one tackle for loss, and one sack, but that doesn't even begin to tell the story. The real magic was in the pressure. According to early PFF data, Dante Fowler recorded 3 quarterback hits and 6 total pressures on just 27 pass rush snaps. Watching the game, you could feel his impact. Every time the Jets dropped back, Fowler seemed to be in the frame, forcing quick throws and keeping their offense uncomfortable. Ezeraku also showed flashes, tallying 4 pressures and making several key plays against the run. The sacks aren't there yet, but the consistent disruption absolutely is. Osa Odigizua and James Houston each added 4 pressures, while Jadeveon Clowney chipped in with 3 of his own. In total, an incredible 11 different Cowboys defenders recorded at least 1 pressure, 28 total pressures as tracked by PFF. That's nearly 43% of Justin Fields' dropbacks where he was under duress. Yes, Fields managed a couple of touchdowns under pressure, but overall he averaged just 4.5 yards per attempt and was sacked 5 times. That's the kind of defensive response fans were hoping to see. The Cowboys' front looked alive, attacking, relentless, and finally playing with the kind of edge that defines great units. Now, yes, it was the Jets. So take that for what it's worth. But performance like this builds confidence, chemistry, and swagger. So, here's the question for you, Cowboys Nation: on a scale from 1 to 10, how confident are you right now in this Dallas defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And before we move on, let's give a little credit where it's due. Dak Prescott quietly delivered a strong outing. It might not have been his best statistical game of the season, but it balanced out his numbers beautifully. 4 touchdown passes, composure in the pocket, and complete control of the offense. Most importantly, he stayed clean. The offensive line kept him upright, and he made the Jets pay for it. Let's talk about Dak Prescott, because what he's doing right now deserves serious respect. When the Jets sent extra pressure, Dak went 8 for 13 for 50 yards and a touchdown. Not mind-blowing numbers, but the key detail? 0 turnover-worthy throws. That's composure. That's control. He took just 1 sack, a smart slide down, and avoided forcing anything reckless. Was he perfect? No. There were a few throws he'd probably like back. But overall, he's playing football at an elite mental level. You can see it in how calm he looks under pressure, how confidently he reads defenses, and how efficiently he spreads the ball around, even with key pieces missing. Think about it, he's out there without his number 1 and number 3 wide receivers, and behind an offensive line missing 4 starters, yet he's still finding ways to make it work. That's what franchise quarterbacks do, they elevate everyone around them. For the second straight week, Dallas found success running plays from under center, and that subtle shift in offensive rhythm is paying off big time. It's keeping defenses honest, creating balance, and letting Dak get into a groove. He currently leads the NFL in completion percentage against zone coverage, which says everything about how sharp and confident he's been. Whether teams show zone or man, Dak has been dealing. And here's what stands out most, this wasn't the Cowboys' A game, not from Dak, not from the defense, but they still won. Dak gave you a solid B-level performance, and that was enough. When your quarterback can win without being perfect, that's a team trending in the right direction. It might have come against a struggling Jets squad, but make no mistake, games like this show the mental toughness and consistency that separate contenders from pretenders. Let's shift the focus to the Cowboys' offensive line, because what they pulled off in this game deserves recognition. Dallas went into this matchup severely short-handed up front. They were missing Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Booker, leaving them with just one original starter on the offensive line. And yet, the protection held strong. Dak Prescott stayed upright, the offense flowed smoothly, and the rhythm never broke. That's an incredible testament to coaching, preparation, and sheer resilience. Offensive line coach Clayton Adams deserves a ton of credit for keeping this group ready and functional despite all the injuries. Now, one of the biggest storylines emerging from this game was the play-action game, and how it completely transformed the Cowboys' offensive approach. Dak threw 4 touchdowns off play action, which shows just how lethal this scheme can be when executed right. Play action has become the heartbeat of this offense. It freezes linebackers, opens passing lanes, and allows Dak to play to his strengths, quick reads, confident throws, and controlled tempo. When the Cowboys blend that with solid protection and timing, they become extremely difficult to stop. The success of this offense, even with a makeshift line, shows just how adaptable this team can be. Dak continues to lead with poise, the backups step up when called upon, and the coaching staff is finding ways to maximize every opportunity. If Dallas can keep this rhythm going once their starters return, this unit could evolve into one of the most complete and dangerous offenses in the league. What stood out most in this win, beyond Dak's control and the defense's dominance, was just how well the offensive line performed under impossible circumstances. According to early PFF data, Nathan Thomas was the only Cowboys lineman to allow a pressure in this game. He started off strong, cooled off a bit later, but still held his own overall. Meanwhile, Hakey Denny didn't allow a single pressure all afternoon. Trevor Keegan, in his limited snaps, was also flawless in protection. Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass held firm as well, showing poise and toughness in every rep, and then there's Terrence Steele, who might have had his best performance of the season. He went toe-to-toe with Quinnen Williams, one of the best interior defensive linemen in all of football, and held him to just one pressure the entire game. That's elite work. The run blocking was equally impressive. Javonte Williams deserves huge credit for capitalizing on that dominance up front, finishing with 16 carries for 135 yards, including an incredible 79 yards after contact. That's pure effort. The Cowboys completely retooled their ground game this season under new leadership, and both Clayton Adams and Connor Riley deserve massive respect for it. To get this kind of production from a group made up of backups? That's coaching excellence and player heart on full display. Think about it, a few years ago under Jason Garrett, losing one starter meant disaster. This week, Dallas had just one true starter on the line, and they still put together one of their most complete performances of the season. Dak Prescott said it best, they're not backups, they're players with an opportunity. And today, they absolutely made the most of it. If you missed our Cowboys vs Jets live watch party, that's okay. Just make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Trust me, you'll want to be there when this team keeps rolling. The Cowboys defense had to adjust early after Jack Sanborn went down with an injury, and that opened the door for Shamar James and Maurice Leafall to step up in a big way. Now, I'll be honest, Leafall isn't exactly known for his coverage skills. He struggled at times, got beat on a couple of routes, but when the moment mattered most, he delivered one of the biggest defensive plays of the game. Midway through the first half, with the score 10-3 and the Jets driving deep into Cowboys territory, Leafall made a textbook peanut punch from behind, forcing a massive fumble that completely flipped the momentum. That single play changed everything. After that turnover, the Cowboys went on an absolute tear, scoring 3 straight touchdowns and racking up 21 unanswered points. By the time the Jets found the end zone again, it was too late. The game was already over. Leafall also added a key quarterback pressure on 4th down, helping seal the Jets' fate. He may not have been perfect, but he showed hustle, heart, and situational awareness, things that matter more than stats. Shamar James, meanwhile, continued to show why he deserves to be a starter. He was constantly around the football, showing improved instincts and physicality. Coverage wasn't perfect, but his effort and positioning made a noticeable difference. Looking ahead, if DeMarvion Overshown remains sidelined and Sanborn isn't ready to go, it makes total sense for Dallas to keep Shamar James and Kenneth Murray as their starting linebacker duo. And honestly, that might not be a bad thing. Because for the first time in a few weeks, this Cowboys linebacker group looked confident, fast, and physical, the kind of energy that wins games in the NFL. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest surprises of the game, Ryan Fenoy. Nobody saw this coming. It was truly the Ryan Fenoy game. He led all players in receiving yards, hauling in 6 catches for 114 yards, and even added 10 rushing yards on the ground. That gave him the second most all-purpose yards of the day, right behind Javonte Williams. With CeeDee Lamb out and George Pickens drawing heavy attention from the defense, the Cowboys needed someone to step up, and Fenoy absolutely answered the call. He was clutch, efficient, and explosive, making plays in key moments and keeping drives alive. He even burned Sauce Gardner once for a clean touchdown grab, showing just how dangerous he can be when given the opportunity. It was, quite simply, a near-perfect performance. And sure, maybe we'll save the Fenoy versus Jalen Tolbert debate for Overreaction Monday, but for now, let's just give credit where it's due. Fenoy showed heart, talent, and reliability when the team needed him most. Now for a little bonus good news, the Eagles lost. Yeah, that's right, any Sunday the Eagles take an L is a good one for Cowboys fans. There's still a long way to go in the NFC East race. The Vikings win didn't help, and the Rams-Niners matchup kind of canceled itself out. We'll see how the Cardinals handle business against the Titans, but regardless, the Cowboys are right there in the mix. Momentum is building, confidence is growing, and this team is starting to look more and more like a contender. Cowboys Nation, let's hear it in the comments. How are we feeling after this win? And be honest, on a scale from 1 to 10, how confident are you in this team making a deep playoff run?